The day I discovered my wife had a secret 3-year-old son, I rigged our Hamptons estate with explosives, intending to take us both out in a blaze of glory. But that night, Victoria Winslow didn't come home. As I sat there, heart turning to ash, I heard my 10-month-old daughter softly call out, "Dada." In that split second, the urge to die vanished. I took the most expensive car in the garage, drove it out of the blast radius, and detonated the charges. Through the rearview mirror, I watched the inferno rise against the night sky as I sped toward JFK Airport. From that moment on, Lucas Sterling, the man who had become the laughingstock of New York high society, ceased to exist. It wasn't until 5 years later that our paths crossed again at a bed and breakfast in Vermont. She stared at me as I politely handed over her room key, a sudden look of disorientation crossing her face. "Lucas, you look different." I didn't answer, simply offering a professional smile. "I hope you and your family enjoy your stay." The key card hovered in the air between us. Victoria didn't move to take it. My arm began to ache from holding the pose, so I spoke up. "Ms. Winslow, your key." "I'll take that." A clear, bright voice came from behind her, breaking the tension. It was her lawfully wedded husband, Julian Rivers. My gaze swept over the diamond wedding band on his ring finger before colliding with those familiar eyes that had haunted my nightmares for years. "Didn't I tell you to wait on the sofa? You never listen. You make me worry." Victoria reacted almost instinctively, taking the luggage from his hands and leaning into his embrace. She pressed the back of her hand to his forehead, her voice softer than I had ever heard it. "Good, the fever's down. Tired? Take our son upstairs to rest. I'll go buy some warm oatmeal for you guys." Julian nodded gently, his smile not quite reaching his eyes as he scrutinized me. "Okay, I'll wait for you." I watched them embrace. As soon as I looked away, a delivery driver walked in carrying a heavy bag of cat litter. While I checked the order code, Victoria had already bent down to lift it. "I'll help you. Where does it go?" "No trouble necessary." I reached out to take it, deliberately maintaining a physical distance. I glanced at the smudge of dirt on her designer dress, turned to the register, and pulled out 2 $20 bills. "Dry cleaning fee. Consider it reimbursed. You don't have to pay me. I wanted to help." Victoria reached out to stop me. Just as her fingertips were about to brush my wrist, I recoiled. Her hand froze in midair, her voice tinged with a bitterness that was hard to miss. "Really, it's fine. I have things to do." As she turned, she nearly collided with Chloe, my employee, who was returning with a bag of roasted chestnuts. Chloe watched Victoria's retreating figure, eyes wide. She grabbed my arm in excitement. "Lucas, wasn't that Victoria Winslow from Winslow Enterprises? She's gorgeous. I've seen her interviews. Self-made billionaire, always talking about her husband. Capable and devoted. She's practically perfect." Guests in the lobby chimed in. "Right? I heard her ex-husband was a lunatic. Attacked people with a knife. He should have gone to prison. She was too soft-hearted, gave him a massive divorce settlement, and only left him when she couldn't take it anymore." Hearing the slander again, I felt nothing. My heart was a stagnant pool. Only the scar on the web of my hand throbbed with a phantom ache. I rubbed the centipede-like scar, and the memories flooded back. Victoria Winslow wasn't some self-made genius. She was a scholarship student from the wrong side of the tracks, bullied and isolated at our prep school. I remembered finding her cornered by a group of trust fund kids in the dead of winter, blood trickling down her forehead on her faded uniform. I was the one who grabbed a lacrosse stick and charged in to save her. In the chaos, a broken bottle sliced my hand open, exposing the bone. It took 8 stitches to close. Victoria sneaked out of the ER. I chased her down only to find out she didn't have a dime for the medical bills. She had an alcoholic father and a mentally unstable mother. After that, I made it my job to protect her. She remained silent, but helped me with math after school. When college applications came around, she got into an Ivy League school, but couldn't afford the tuition. I begged my father to sponsor her, supporting her all the way through her internships. When those same bullies targeted her in the corporate world, my father made an exception and brought her into our family company, mentoring her personally. Victoria had a gift for business. She understood complex market data at a glance. I used to sit beside her, chin in hand, watching her focused profile with adoration. My father saw through me. Even knowing Victoria only felt gratitude, he funded her startup after graduation. Within a year, Victoria had secured her footing in New York. Later, when my mother fell ill and my father made risky investments to cover costs, bringing the company to the brink of bankruptcy, it was Victoria who saved us. My father always called her our benefactor, saying the debt was paid and she should live her own life. But she dropped to her knees before him, swearing with intense focus, "Mister, Sterling, I can never repay your kindness. Please, trust me with Lucas. I will take care of him for the rest of his life. I won't let him suffer. The old wound on my hand throbbed harder. I looked down at the ugly scar and wanted to laugh. People really can be naive enough to mistake gratitude for love. After that, without even a formal title, I lived as her husband. I frequented her company to establish my presence, silently declaring ownership. Victoria never objected. She even let me choose her personal assistant, specifically saying, just pick a bright young woman. But on interview day, my eyes landed on Julian Rivers' mediocre resume. Not because of his single, no-kids status, but because his eyes looked exactly like Victoria's late mother's. Her mother, in her lucid moments, was the only light in Victoria's dark childhood. So, without asking, I hired Julian. When Victoria saw him, she lost her composure and teared up. That night, she held me, trembling, whispering thanks. I felt for her. I invited Julian over for dinner often, creating opportunities for them to bond. I thought I was helping her heal. I didn't know I was digging my own grave. The crowd dispersed, and I snapped back to reality, habitually picking up a framed photo of my daughter to wipe away dust. Chloe munched on a chestnut and asked, Lucas, roasted chestnuts are so good. Why do you never eat them? My hand froze. The memories drowned me. My mother and I loved chestnuts. Every winter, Dad would bring home a hot paper bag of them. Mom would peel them, blow on them to cool them down, and feed me. The year Mom was dying, in a moment of terminal lucidity, she asked for chestnuts. Dad drove to get them. Halfway there, he got the call that she was crashing. In his panic, he sped, hydroplaned into an oncoming truck, and died on impact. That bag of hot chestnuts was stained with his blood, scattered across the asphalt. In that snowy winter, I lost the parents who loved me most on the same day. Chloe's eyes reddened. She moved the bag away, her voice dropping to a whisper. Lucas, I'm so sorry. Don't be sad. Lily and I will always be here for you. Lily's school is out soon. Maybe we can go for a walk in town tonight. She trailed off, staring at the photo of my daughter, jaw dropping. Lucas, Lily's missing, Mom. It couldn't be. I nodded, confirming it. Chloe hesitated, then asked softly, her eyes full of pity. Then those rumors. Lucas, how much did you have to suffer? I paused, my nose stinging at her concern, but the feeling passed. I smiled. Actually, we did have a few sweet years. The day my parents died, Victoria proposed to me. She brought a lawyer, signed over all her shares to me. She knelt on one knee, swearing she'd give me a new home, protect me forever, begging me to stop crying because it broke her heart. She handled the funeral when I collapsed from grief. We got a marriage license. No wedding, just plain band we bought in college, but I was content. I thought I was the luckiest man alive. I poured everything into Victoria. I knew she was busy, so I demanded nothing. If she worked late, I left the porch light on. If she traveled, I packed her bags. And for a while, she didn't disappoint me. She was obsessed with me, her devotion the envy of the city. Billboards in Times Square once flashed her confession, I love Lucas Sterling. Just as I drowned in her love, finally letting go of my grief, the news of her affair with Julian hit the trending topics. The man I considered a brother was hugging and kissing her in the garden of a revolving restaurant. It was my birthday. I had cooked a table full of her favorite dishes, waiting all night in the suit she bought me. She answered every call, soothing me. I'm at a business dinner, be good, I'll be home soon. Julian had even used his bonus to buy me a watch, with a note. Happy birthday to my best brother. I thought I had the world. I didn't know the two people I trusted most were holding the knives. The moment I saw the news, I drove out like a madman. Tears blurred my vision. I nearly rear-ended two cars. I didn't care. I just wanted answers. When I reached the restaurant, I saw Julian gentlemanly opening the car door for Victoria. I slammed my brakes and charged at them. Victoria instinctively stepped in front of Julian, her eyes icy, asking without a shred of guilt, Lucas, what are you doing? Julian peeked out from behind her, greeting me with that same gentle facade. Around his pale neck hung the Sterling family heirloom necklace, the one I loved but never dared to wear. Right next to the necklace, a dark red hickey stung my eyes. I lunged at him like a lunatic, throwing punches, screaming, I treated you like family. Why would you betray me? Julian sobbed, gasping for air, shrinking behind Victoria, but his eyes gleamed with provocation. Victoria shoved me hard. She checked Julian with panic on her face, cooing at him as he wept. I lay on the pavement, clutching my abdomen where the surgical incision from days ago, when I took a knife for her during a mugging, ripped open. I watched them embrace, my heart suffocating. When Victoria finally turned to yell at me, she saw the blood soaking my shirt. I was hospitalized. She sat by my bed, looking as deeply concerned as she used to, apologizing over and over. Lucas, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I promise I'll never hurt you again. I slapped her. I kicked and screamed, calling her names, cursing her. Victoria took it silently, eyes red. Calm down. Your health comes first. But I wasn't done. I screamed that I'd make Julian pay. That was when Victoria snapped. She slapped me across the face, her voice deadly cold. Lucas Sterling, you touch him, and I will make you wish you were dead. Seeing her protect the other man, the hate in my heart exploded. After that day, Victoria stopped visiting. She began parading Julian around town. My phone filled with photos of them in bed, sent by anonymous numbers mocking me. I smashed up our marital home, shredded everything related to her, and burned our wedding albums. When I recovered, I used my father's old connections to blacklist Julian across the industry and expose the affair. For a moment, Julian was a pariah, and Victoria lost major contracts. She went insane with revenge. She locked me in a hotel suite for months, tied me to the bed, and forced herself on me while a camera recorded everything. She blurred her own face and leaked the videos of me losing control to the internet. The scandal shifted instantly. Julian was the victim. I was the laughingstock, the degenerate husband. Everyone who used to flatter me cut ties overnight. My father's struggling legacy company lost its last client and went bankrupt. The day my reputation was completely destroyed, she released me. My accumulated hatred erupted. I took a knife to her office. I slashed Julian and cut Victoria's arm. While I was screaming in a frenzy, Victoria sat down and signed a contract selling my father's company for pennies on the dollar, right in front of me. My father's life work was destroyed in seconds. I begged her to stop, bringing up everything my father did for her, trying to find a scrap of conscience. Victoria looked down at me with pure scorn. Lucas, I paid back your family's little favors the day I saved the company. You dare hurt Julian? I'll take my time destroying you. That same day, I saw their son, Jace. I realized their relationship had started the moment I hired Julian. The lack of a wedding, the cheap rings, it wasn't frugality. She was saving face for Julian. Even the public love letters were a smokescreen Julian orchestrated to keep me blind while they played house. I was the clown they had toyed with for years. My heart was past breaking. Only hate remained. That night, I planted the bombs. But in the end, looking at my daughter, I couldn't do it. I faked my death and vanished. Chloe was sobbing by the time I finished the story. I wiped her tears and went to the door to meet the school bus. Chloe followed, voice raspy, cursing Victoria. But just as I took Lily's small hand, I turned and collided with a familiar gaze. Victoria dropped her cup of oatmeal. Her pupils constricted as she stared at my daughter. This child, whose is she? I pulled Lily behind me, my eyes cold. This is my daughter. She has nothing to do with you, Ms. Winslow. Your husband and son are waiting upstairs. Don't keep them. Victoria tried to step forward, but Chloe lunged like a feral cat, shoving her back. Do you not understand English? He told you to back off. Our B&B doesn't welcome you. Take your people and get out. Chloe dragged her by the sleeve toward the door. Victoria stumbled, but didn't fight back, her burning gaze fixed on Lily. Daddy, let's go. Lily tugged my hand, skipping. Auntie Grace is waiting for us to eat pizza. Grace was the landlord, the woman who had quietly watched over me for 5 years. I saw her waiting by the restaurant, her smile warm as winter sun. I relaxed, watching the two of them play. After dinner, Lily insisted on going to the playground and winked at us. Seeing her try to set me up with Grace made me smile. I agreed. But at the playground, we ran into Victoria again. She stood at the gate, staring at Lily, breathing hard. Grace recognized her, tensed up, and shielded us. Victoria looked at Grace, then at me, her expression lost and careful. Lucas, we need to talk. I stopped Grace from exploding. Follow me. I led her to a quiet corner and lit a cigarette. Victoria stood stiffly. You hate smoke. Why? Speak. I cut her off. She paused, voice trembling. I thought you were dead. All these years, raising a child alone. Have you been okay? I looked at her fake remorse and laughed aloud. Okay. When I left New York, despite the explosion, a woman with her resources could have found me. I was injured, losing blood, barely surviving on cheap painkillers. Because of the leaked videos, people recognized me everywhere as the male whore, spitting on me, chasing me. I couldn't get a job. I ended up homeless in the dead of winter, nearly freezing to death. Grace saved me. She gave me a place, used her connections to scrub the videos, and took me to doctors. I was diagnosed with severe depression. On sleepless nights, I self-harmed just to feel something other than pain. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my parents weeping in the mist and Victoria cheating. If not for Lily, I would be buried under 6 feet of dirt by now. It doesn't matter, I said, putting out the cigarette. The girl is mine alone. She has nothing to do with you. You have a new family. Do not disturb our peace. I turned to leave. Victoria grabbed my wrist. I shook her off violently, roaring, "Don't touch me." Terrified, she retracted her hands, eyes full of panic. "Lucas, I won't touch you. Please don't go." She was crying, apologizing. I couldn't tell if she was sorry for crossing the line or for the past. Grace came looking for me. She checked me for injuries, pursed her lips, and pulled me away. "Let's go. Lily is looking for you." The mood was heavy that night. Back at the B&B, Lily sensed Grace was down and ran back to the playground to give us space. I smiled helplessly, about to speak. "You?" Grace asked nervously. "Are you going to soften? Do you want Lily to have her mother back?" I was stunned. I haven't softened, and I definitely don't want her back. "I'm just worried her sudden appearance will destroy the peace I've fought so hard for," I said. "I just want to draw a line. That's all." Grace finally smiled. Simultaneously, a crash sounded behind me. I turned to see Victoria standing there, face pale. At her feet lay 2 shattered glass bottles of strawberry milkshake, my old favorite. Pink liquid splattered my pants. Victoria stammered apologies, crouching to wipe my cuff with her sleeve. Grace exhaled sharply, shoved Victoria aside, and growled, "Ms. Winslow, are you done? You are harassing my staff. Please leave immediately." I was annoyed. I grabbed Grace and Lily to leave, but Victoria grabbed my wrist again, head hung low like a scolded child. "I didn't mean to. I just remembered you love strawberry shakes, and I saw." "Enough." I shook her off. "Victoria, you are disrupting my life. Move out of my B&B tonight." Knowing her old self, I expected retaliation. I was ready to pack up and run again. But that night, Victoria obediently took her husband and left. She didn't appear again. Life resumed. Just as I planned to make things official with Grace, Lily's teacher called. Someone claiming to be Lily's mom was at the school. "Ich rushed over." Victoria stood under a sycamore tree. The rage I'd suppressed exploded. I walked up and slapped her with everything I had. "Victoria, what are you doing? If you dare hurt my daughter, I will take you down with me." Victoria's head snapped to the side. A pink gift box fell, smashing a strawberry cake onto the pavement. She slowly turned, a bruise forming, eyes red. I wanted to make amends. I knew you wouldn't see me, so I came here. "Lucas, I just want to compensate you," and the girl. She shoved a bank card in my hand, choking on tears. Compensate? Where was she when I needed money, protection, or dignity? Now that I was happy, she shows up with money to soothe her guilty conscience. When Lily was born, I had nothing. Grace gave me the rental for free. When customers harassed me, Grace fought them off. When people mocked me as a widower with baggage, she defended me. When Lily was sick, Grace stayed up all night. She even boarded her beloved cat because I was allergic. Lily grew up happy because of Grace. I had paid back the rent, but the emotional debt I owed Grace was infinite. Thinking of Grace, my expression softened. Victoria's eyes lit up with hope. But as she stepped closer, I threw the bank card at her. It grazed her cheek, drawing blood. She froze, touching the cut. "Lucas, don't be like this. I have no bad intentions." "Ms. Winslow," I interrupted. "I don't want your compensation. If you have any conscience, disappear. That's the only apology I accept." "Lucas," she grabbed my hand, voice begging. "I am sorry. I regret it. I really do. I was possessed back then. I love you. Can you give me a chance?" "Impossible." I pried her fingers off one by one. From the moment I faked my death, we were done. Go back to Julian. Never show your face again. "Daddy." Lily ran out of the school building. Victoria's eyes brightened. She crouched down, wanting to speak to her. But Lily stood in front of me, swinging her little fists at Victoria. "Go away. You bullied Daddy. You're a bad person. I hate you. I don't want you as my mommy." This powerful CEO was pushed to the ground by a 4-year-old. Victoria froze, the pain in her eyes spreading like ink. It was the same look of despair I had 5 years ago. She swallowed hard. "Yes, I am a bad person. I called Auntie Grace. She's coming to protect us," Lily shouted. Grace arrived seconds later, breathless. "Are you hurt?" My heart melted. I wiped sweat from her forehead and held her hand publicly for the first time. "I'm Fine. Let's go." Victoria followed us. I spun around. "Victoria, I haven't forgotten what you promised Julian 5 years ago." 5 years ago, after the affair was exposed, Julian stopped pretending. While I was held captive, Victoria removed anything sharp so I couldn't kill myself. But Julian would come in, wearing bespoke suits, to keep me company. He told me how much Victoria loved him, how much she paid him. The worst part was when he said, "Lucas, you know why you haven't had kids all these years? Victoria hates that you rely on her charity. She said a man like you shouldn't reproduce. The vitamins you took? She swapped them for chemical sterilizers. Even your daughter. That was an accident because Victoria was using you to blow off steam when we had a fight. You thought she loved you? She was just saving me from embarrassment." Victoria had stood outside the door, watching silently while he told me this. I hated her enough to kill, and now she claims she loves me? Victoria trembled, her face ashen. I understand. I won't appear again. As I walked away, I heard her sobbing behind me. But so what? Too little, too late. That night, Grace and I officially started dating. Lily was the happiest, followed by Chloe. I've been working on my allergies and finally overcame them. I turned a guest room into a cat room and brought Grace's cat back as a surprise. But just as everything was perfect, the school called again. Lily was pushed off the bus by a boy. Her head is bleeding. We're at the hospital. I arrived at the ER shaking. My daughter lay in the teacher's arms, gauze on her forehead. "Daddy, it hurts." My heart shattered. The teacher told me the culprit was Victoria's son, Jace. Rage consumed me. I called Victoria. She answered instantly, sounding panicked, giving me Jace's location immediately. I sped there. Julian was packing a suitcase to flee. I stormed in and punched him with everything I had. "You taught your son to hurt my daughter." Julian shrieked, clutching his face. "Lucas, you dare hit me? Victoria destroyed you once. She'll do it again." Jace charged at me, fist swinging. But before he could land a hit, Victoria rushed in and kicked him flying. Her eyes were bloodshot, voice lethal. "You little monster. You dare to hurt my daughter. Victoria, how could you hit Jace?" Julian cried, throwing himself at her. Victoria backhanded him across the face. "You piece of trash. I regret the day I met you. I was blind to let you manipulate me." The drama didn't quell my hatred. "I will make both of them pay." She nodded, looking only at me, asking if I was hurt. That day, Victoria personally sent her own son to a juvenile detention center, a reform school with a 5-year mandatory stay. Julian fainted from grief, then woke up kneeling at my feet, begging for mercy. He looked exactly like I did 5 years ago. I felt nothing but grim satisfaction. Later, I heard Victoria divorced Julian, leaving him with nothing. He went mad from the sudden poverty and shame. Victoria ended up in a psychiatric facility. She tried to visit Lily a few times, but Chloe chased her off. Eventually, she stopped coming. Instead, she slipped a bank card under the counter with a note. "I'm sorry." I kept it, intending to give it to Lily when she turned 18. A year later, Grace and I had our wedding. It wasn't grand, but it was warm, the happiness I had always wanted. That day, an anonymous transfer of $10 million hit my account. Note, "I'm sorry." I knew who it was. I didn't return it. I donated it all to charity in Lily's name. 2 years later, Grace gave birth to our second child. That same day, I saw the news. Victoria Winslow, CEO of Winslow Enterprises, died in a climbing accident on a snowy mountain. She was 35. She died on the same mountain trip she had promised to take me on years ago, but never did. Gone like the wind. We never saw each other again. Story complete.